This is the Sony ZVE1, a brand new full-frame camera designed for content creators. It's packed with a ton of awesome features, kind of like this camera movement you're seeing right now. There's actually no one operating the camera. Today we'll be talking about the pros and the cons, all to find out if this is the right camera for you. So we're here in beautiful San Diego for Sony Camera Camp. I'm super excited to get to be a part of this trip, and one of the cool things that they're doing is letting us check out this brand new camera, the Sony ZVE1. Let's start with the pros, starting with auto framing. This is a brand new feature that will allow solo creators to get a lot more out of their camera. It can essentially turn your tripod into a second shooter. When you turn it on, you'll see a little frame on the screen, and it's basically showing you what the final output will be. So as you move around within the frame, it will follow you and create camera movement. Now, you could already do this in post-production in a video editor by adding keyframes and all of that stuff, but that takes time, it takes skill set, and honestly, this is a lot faster and a lot easier. But convenience costs because you don't have as much control as if you were to do it yourself manually. There's also this new cool feature where if somebody steps inside of the frame with you, you can auto adjust the aperture to basically increase the focus plane so that they're in focus as well. And I've got to talk about the form factor. I absolutely love the kind of design and shape of this camera. It's like a good mix of the A7C and the ZVE10. I'm really happy that it still has the SD card slot on the side. I'm currently testing out the time-lapse feature of the ZVE1. Just seeing how this built-in time-lapse video feature works. This feature is a little bit different than other time-lapse features that Sony has had in the past where they compile a bunch of images. This is actually video. I think the idea of it is to make it really easy and simple for creators to use without a lot of post-production or extra effort, and I do enjoy that it says the length of what the video will be. One of the biggest pros for me personally is that this camera is going to have 4K 120. Right now, out of the box, it comes with 4K 60, but there is a firmware update coming very soon, which will allow for 4K 120. This will give you the ability to have really awesome slow motion shots. You can actually import your own LUTs. When you do this, you can choose to have it just baked into the footage, or you could use it more as like a reference if you know that you want to grade later. And I love the touchscreen interface. It's easy to kind of swipe around and just adjust things. I will say it's not the best touchscreen in the world. There have been times where I'm trying to do something real quick and I'm just having a hard time, but that may just be me needing to get more used to it. And going one step further, they've added a completely new feature called CineVlog, which is kind of funny, but also kind of cool. Like you can turn it on and instantly have these super styled looking shots. Check out the way it makes this bird look super cinematic. This camera also offers a new type of stabilization called active dynamic. This is really intended for while you are moving to help you lock on to your subject and keep them wherever you want to in the frame. Check out this example on the beach. We're gonna use that CineVlog feature just to make it extra fun. All right, just doing a quick microphone check. This is the built-in microphone on the Sony ZVE1. And the cool thing about this mic is that it has a couple of different features for directionality. So right now it's set to only pick up what's in front of the camera, which would be me. But if I change the setting so that now it's picking up everywhere, it's omnidirectional, you're gonna get a lot more of the overall environment. My voice is probably a little bit harder to hear, but you can hear all of my surroundings. And the other really cool feature is that you can change it to the rear. This is really useful if you want to show around your environment and still narrate what you are seeing. You can easily switch that microphone pickup at the touch of a button, or you can choose auto. This camera makes it really easy for beginners to create awesome content, but I do still recommend learning the fundamentals. Sometimes when you're relying on the camera, it may just not be the exact vision you have. And in those moments, I think it's important for creators to be able to take control of the camera and execute that vision. So if you're somebody who is wanting to learn a little bit more about camera settings, check out my free course at supersimplecamerasettings.com. I've broken all of it down and made it it's super simple to understand to help you go from auto to manual in minutes. Also that you can sharpen your skills and start making better quality content. I've made this course absolutely free and it is a resource for you. You can check it out at the link in the description below. All right, now that we've talked through some of the pros, let's talk about a few of the cons. For me, one of the biggest cons is there is no EVF. I know that's traditionally more for photography, but I use it all the time as I'm making videos. I like to use it just to review footage, or if I am shooting B-roll or something outside, it does make a big difference just to be able to see the screen more clearly. The screen on this camera is just really not like the best, and when it's super bright outside, it is hard to rely on it. Because of all of the crazy features packed into this camera and its size, it is a little bit more prone to overheating. With that said, I've shot with it consistently for the past day or two in San Diego, in the sunshine and all of that. I had no issues with overheating. I don't think you'll really notice that unless you're going to be running it for longer periods of time. So if you are looking to get this for something like a podcast or, just long talking head videos, it may not be the best option for that. While this camera is full frame, it is still only 12 megapixels. One of the things I love about my current camera, the A7C, which is 24 megapixels, is that I can use the crop sensor mode on my lenses. So if I'm shooting with a prime lens, I can engage that and it will kind of crop it in a little bit, but I still can record at the full resolution. And this just makes it really easy to get 2 looks out of one lens. And I can't really do that with this camera because it's only 12 megapixels. Here's some final thoughts I have on this camera. At the end of the day, specs are one thing. I just want to be able to use the camera as a tool to help execute my ideas. And this has been pretty fun to use, walking around, creating all this B-roll, capturing stuff, testing it out. It's been enjoyable and fun. And that's a really important factor to me personally. I did just get this camera a day ago, and I feel like I've been able to jump right into it. It hasn't been too confusing or too overwhelming. There's always room for improvement, but at the end of the day, it was fun. And I think that it's going to be a good tool for a lot of people. When it comes to who this is for, it's definitely for vloggers and content creators. No question about it. Coming from more of a freelance background where I did video production and photography, there are a couple of things that personally I wish this camera had, but that would make it more of a hybrid camera. And this really is not a hybrid camera. At the end of the day, this is a very powerful tool for content creators. It's packed with a ton of groundbreaking features as well as some pro specs. And the fact that all of this is packed into a small form factor will really make this a super useful tool. As awesome as this camera is, it really is designed for a more experienced vlogger. So if you're somebody who's more new to everything, then I'd recommend checking out this camera here. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, stay creative. Peace.